one of the characters' concept art, of which I've modeled to be representative of an actual model, so I can 3D model it later. And then this would be what the stage would look like. So you have the 2 players here, giant holographic field, then the audience in the background, like a stadium. I predict the journey ahead will be rather tedious. I understand that because it's going to be time consuming, and I'm going to find it enjoyable nonetheless. I understand that programming is going to be an issue, and this is going to be a big issue. Programming is not my strong suit, never has been, but I want to get better at it, and so I'm just going to put myself through this, and I'm going to try and power through this. There's also going to be the problem of character model creation, because I'm just a bit of a perfectionist in that, and I want it to be perfect, and I want it to, hold true. And this would also be the first time I'm probably working with 3D Unity, because again, this game is going to be 3D in intention. The end. Any questions?
Okay. Does anyone have any questions that they want to start with? On this side? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Dimitros.
Yeah. So, how will there be any card types in the game? Like.
Yeah, no, in the game, I forgot to really go. I can't go back. I forgot to go over this. But there are different card types. Like you'd have spells, buildings, units placed through buildings. Yeah, this page is fine. Units placed through buildings, spells, not spells, well, abilities, let's say, to be able to alter the outcome of certain things. And then finally, just the buildings to place the units. That's the cards, essentially.
Okay. So, from what I gather, you're making a card game in 3D.
Yeah.
And does it have a board, or is it just the cards that are going to be on some sort of surface, or how's this going to work?
So if I go back to so this is, again, layout, which will be on a giant table in the middle of the stadium, which you can see here, which is very poorly represented, but...
Oh, I see. So you're actually recreating the whole environment where the board game is basically set up.
Yeah. Like, again, you've got like the environment, like you've got like where 2 players would be having battle. This giant platform here, of which I very poorly explained, is going to show in giant holographic, in-game holographic terms, where it would essentially be you place a card on the table and then correlating space on the table to the space on the field, like a holographic building or a holographic unit would spawn there. If that
Right,
makes sense.
I see. So whatever happens on the table, in the game, basically
happens on
manifests in the game world in some way.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
This is, a very good example of this happening in a different game is the final boss of Inscription against, I can't remember his name. It isn't Leshian, it isn't PO3, it isn't Gamora, it's the 4th Scribe of Magics. But yeah.
So I take it that's the main source of inspiration for the setup of this game.
Practically, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alright, any other questions? Okay. One more. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you mentioned Team Fortress 2 being one of your main inspirations. Will this game have different class types like Team Fortress 2? Or?
That was an idea for if you could flick back to idea 2 on the board for me here. This was going to be where the Team Fortress 2 inspired stuff would come from. Again, class types wouldn't matter, but faction types would, if that makes sense. There's no specific class. I guess maybe it depends on where I take the cards and where it goes from there, essentially.
Okay, I suggest maybe making a physical version of the game. Since it's a card game, you could maybe prototype a paper-based version just to get the mechanics and the feel right before you try to translate it into...
I believe because this is idea 3 was based on the card game that we did earlier this year, if you remember so.
Right, so you're basically taking that and developing it further.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Alright, so we'll leave it there. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, sir.